Hi, everyone. Welcome back to SGA's closing summit, the last of our summit for this year. And Martin, if you'd like to take over for this section.
Yeah, sure thing. So we want to thank all of the developers on the panels and talks. I'll be going down the list for each panel just to make sure we have thanked everybody. So we want to be thankful for Evan Donahue, Jeff Yabumoto, sorry, Leslie Sullivan for being part of the production panel. For the art panel, want to thank Scarlett Fu, Annika Lambert. Want to thank for the narrative design and writing panel. Want to thank Emily Pitcher, Katie Mallon, Elizabeth Balu, Andrea Saravia Perez. For the engineering panel, want to thank Ian Holsted. For the audio and sound design panel, I want to thank Amerlin Zeta. And lastly, for the game design panel, I want to thank Kate Smith and Dawn Hammond Quay. And also, want to thank all of the student game showcase games who were on stream and not. And also especially thank you to the students game showcases games who were unfortunately a victim to technical issues.
Yeah, we recognize that playing games live and over the internet can be a little bit of a struggle, so we want to be sure that we want to let everyone be reminded that you should probably go download and play those games yourself. They're much more high fidelity than sometimes it appears on the stream itself. But on that note, the SGA yes.
Sorry, just want to add thank you also to Katie Mallon, who did a very last minute talk with us at the end of yesterday. It was really fun.
It was really great getting to speak with her and facilitating the conversation.
For sure. Yeah. The SGA Showcase mini grant for the Student Games Showcase is awarded to the games that showed exemplary creativity, direction, design, programming, and other related disciplines. There's a lot of components that go into game design or game development in general, and so we want to make sure that those efforts are awarded. So the intent of this award is to be used to further develop the game and potentially support the eventual full release of said game on something like Steam or the Epic's Game Store. And so, in order to support the further promotion of the game in the game space, we're here to provide mini grants for this sort of circumstance. We initially stated that a single mini grant would be awarded, so I think it was a single mini grant, I think about $100. But this has changed from our original announcement this year. This year, due to the number of excellent games within the Student Games Showcase, we've decided to award 2 games with a mini grant. So each one will receive $100 for the mini grant. Each of these games, will receive $100 for the mini grant. We'll contact the winners with the details on how they will receive the monetary grant after the summit. And we'll do that via email. So thank you for the donations. They really helped to fund these mini grants, and the donations always directly go to our student games so that they can publish their games and hopefully thrive within the game development space. Please note that there may be more developers than what is listed when we list the members of each team. We unfortunately have tried to do our due diligence, but we also recognize that we sometimes miss some members of the teams for these Student Game Showcase. And apologies if we mispronounce a developer's name. It's not our intention, but we try our best. So in that case, Anuj, why don't you announce the first game that received a mini grant for the Student Game Showcase?
Absolutely. For the first game of the Students Game Showcase, we'd like to award our mini grant to the game Refresh. Developed by Melody Geiger, Joseph Horak, Ethan Godwin, and William Swords, along with other developers at UT Austin. Refresh is a lot of things. It's incredibly well polished. It's one of the first solar punk games I've seen. Solar punk being a genre that I really want to see more explored, especially after this. It has a lot of different components to it that make it just incredibly well polished, and the developers have been doing a great job with making their game seen and generally apparently the game was being showcased in 2 places at once on when during the showcase slot. The UI, sound design, gameplay, and the art style were all really, really just pleasant to look at. and I I'm really interested in seeing if there's potentially a speed run for this game because with how movement works with different numbers of jumps and dashes, I can see that being really interesting. We hope this mini grant helps the developers with showcasing their game internationally and helping to market the game even further.
All right.
And yeah, Negative can take away our second mini grant.
Yeah, thank you, Anuj. All right, so the second mini grant for the summit for 2023 goes to We Got Company. So We Got Company was developed by, and then there's a whole list of names, so be prepared. And apologies if I mispronounce anyone's names. Jason Pambuena, Yenchi Nguyen, Hunter Drummond, Ashley Masuda, Hung Dung Vu, Darius Friedhoff, Haley Inzanza, Nicholas Asakura Miyazaki, Nelson Menkos, Emily Chavez, Matthew Shin, Anna Park, Josiah Lomax, and Edem Sedor at UC Irvine. So for a game inspired by a meme, and it says that on the description page, We Got Company takes the epicness of action games to a new level with the use of dynamic music in its main gameplay. It's not an exaggeration to say that the showcase team, when playing this game, literally got chills when the intro played with the epics, narration, story, and music. And we hope this mini grant helps further the development of this game, such as adding new bosses, new instruments, and music, or expanding the world and preparing it for a full release.
And we wanted to emphasize that it is truly really hard to pick just 1 to 2 games to grant the mini grants to. We had a lot of discussions, and it's hard because there were a lot of really excellent games that were presented this year. And we hope to see all of them further developed. And if you or your team make significant updates, fully release your game, or even make a new game, please submit it to the Summit Showcase or send it over to the Summit Discord server so we can see it. We would love to see, the audience would love to see, so please do. And I would also like to thank our volunteer panel moderator, Kelly, for moderating the art panel. Thank you so much for helping with that.
And yeah, on that note, thanking the staff in terms of our volunteer moderator, Kelly. And I'd like to thank all of our officers here at SGDA. I'd like to thank Anuj, who is officially our webmaster, but has been doing a lot more in terms of everything else. I'd also like to thank Martin for helping be the summit lead. It's a lot of work to be the summit lead, to do outreach for our speakers, to make sure that the summit runs as well as it does. Martin is a core part of that, and so I'd like to thank him. I'd like to thank Megna, our marketing lead. She also does a lot for the summit as well. So again, we were running on a really tight crew, I think, this time around. So everyone had to wear a lot of hats, do a lot of things, sort of the nature of game development. So I'd like to thank everyone, and I'd like to thank Nicolette, one of our newest officers within SGDA, and she has really stepped up. It's a pleasure to be working with everyone for the summit. I'd also like to note that we do have officers who weren't able to come today for the closing ceremony. Eric Park, who's a public relations officer, he unfortunately couldn't make it today, but I'd like to make sure that he did a lot of our outreach for our speakers, among other things. So Eric really helped us out. I'd also like to I'd like to thank Richard Pham, who is also another public relations officer, and I'd like to thank Jevin, who is our previous public relations officer lead in this case, and he's currently doing better things, and so he's working in a studio and he's working hard. So I'd like to thank him for helping us to connect with the speaker for this summit. And again, I'd like to thank you all for joining today. It's a pleasure to be signal boosting for student games and sort of game development in general. I think for SGDA, our mission is to help students and to help developers connect and be able to help grow the industry in a way, I think, that most people can't really consider from this side. So again, I'd like to thank you all for attending today.
I'd like to also personally take this really quick moment to thank Jason, our president.
Yeah.
Without Jason, a lot of this would not be possible. He's been a fantastic host I've been an officer for 3 years, and all 3 years he's been doing an absolutely incredible job with making sure things run smoothly, and that we are able to upload and just he helps SGDA run the way it does. So huge thanks to him as well.
All right. And since we have a little bit of time left here, does any do any of our officers have anyone else that they'd like to thank who isn't necessarily from SGDA? Just anyone else? Any shout outs as our student game showcase, our student game showcasers are very familiar with?
I guess I would like to publicly thank. So, in preparation for the summit, we're doing some marketing, and we basically we used, how do you say? We basically marketed the summit by utilizing previous summit winners' game, promoting their game. So I'd like to thank those teams for allowing us to promote their game on several different platforms, as well as providing us with images or videos. And some of them are fully released now. So I think, a couple of them are fully released now. You can go check them out. They're on our Discords. Yeah. So I'd like to thank those teams because those really helped out when it comes to helping the summit reach more developers.
Cool. In that case, Martin, why just for some closing thoughts, why don't you, if you would like to take this section, that would be super great.
Yeah, so want to note that the VODs will be available sometime soon up on our YouTube channel. Do want to note though that the game design panel, we unfortunately we're not going to be able to have it listed up on YouTube. So we do apologize for that. We did try our best to have all our panels available up for viewing later, but for the game design panel, that's unfortunately not going to be the case this year. So apologies again for that. Next, do want to announce that there's going to be open applications for SGDA officers, but
Yeah.
specifically for the summit. So if anybody's interested in helping us out with planning the summit event or yearly summit event, then please do apply when applications do open up. And then due to portfolio and resume review sessions being canceled, we're going to be doing something of a mini summit sometime soon, so that way we can definitely help out more students with their portfolio and resumes, and getting sessions scheduled with other game devs out there. And let's see. Oh,
Yeah.
we do want to apologize as well for the engineering and audio panels. Due to scheduling conflicts, we had to make them into fireside chats, but we did what we could, and I feel like we still got good work out of it. We were able to help out as many students possible with that, with both engineering and audio panels being fireside chats. And just one final reminder to be on the lookout for any future announcements regarding future events for SGDA in our Discord and in our social media. So just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, one little teaser that we can release is that it should be relatively soon, but due to some restrictions with the studio, we maybe can't be able to release it quite yet, but expect it fairly soon.
Things are
But in
cooking.
that case, yeah, sorry. Any other further thoughts from officers before we sign out here? For sure. Again, thank you everyone for watching SGA Summit 2023. We plan to be here next year, and hopefully we'll see more games and we'll see more panels. See y'all later.
Bye bye, everybody.
Thank you.